back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking the Transformers Kingdom Golden Disc Collection Autobot Puffer. So as you can see on the box, there is two names, so there is two figures in this pack. This is part 1. Part 2, I will be taking the Transformers Kingdom Autobot Road Ranger, which is of course also included in this pack, which is just a slight repaint remold of this figure here. Also Huffer, of course, which I will bring those two figures out for comparison in this review for robot and vehicle modes, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So that's pretty much it really for the beginning stuff. Let's take a look at the packaging. Of course, Puffer is there, which does look very, very cool. So, we do have a really nice shot of the golden disc. Of course, that is just part of the artwork. If you collect all 4 of these packs of the golden disc collection, you can combine all 4 boxes and make it into a very, very cool artwork of the big golden discs. That's really, really cool. Of course, we have the two names down there. If we flip this around, it will, of course, show both figures. So this is the figure we will be taking a look at here, Puffer, and of course part 2 it will be Road Ranger, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty much it for the packaging and the beginning intro stuff. Let's get into the figure himself. Puffer in his vehicle mode, let's take a look at the details. So overall this truck does look pretty cool. Let's start at the back. So we do have the 2 black cannons done. Pretty cool, very simple, not a lot of detail to them, but very, very cool. There is several other ways you can store the cannons, which I will show in just a second. On the side we do have some nice wheel detailing there. We have some paneling detailing done in blue. On the back, we do have some nice red lights there, 4 of them, 2 on each side. We do have some gaps, but that ain't too bad. It is just a deluxe, so there will be gaps here and there. On the other side, it's exactly the same as the side we just looked at. We do have a nice panel there, which does become the arm for the robot mode, so pretty cool. There is another port where you can plug a weapon, the same on the other side. There is another port on top where you could plug one of the cannons, so pretty cool. The wheels are done actually very, very well. So if you watched my Jackpot and Sights review, I mentioned that Jackpot does have some mushroom pegs, very visible on his front wheels, I'm pretty sure, and I really did not like that. They did not match the back of the wheels, so these do match, which is quite nice. They're not mushroom pegs. I really do not like those. Those do not look very good at all, in my personal opinion. I'm typically not this picky, but for an Amazon exclusive, I'm a little bit more picky in this situation. For the front, we do have a lot of silver there. We have 4 headlights. We have a little rim piece there, a little grille piece, which is pretty cool. We have some nice gray for the front window and the 2 side windows here and here, which is pretty cool. We do have some more black on the top for the top lights, which is pretty cool. So yeah, overall, a very cool, done, simple little G1 truck, which is really why I like this truck. It's very simple. It really is just blue, black, and a little bit of silver here and there, which does look really good. Sometimes, yeah, simple is not the greatest, but for a G1 figure like this, I think it looks pretty cool. So, playability-wise, or, you know, accessory-wise, of course, you just have the 2 cannons, which you can store, of course, on the back, but you can store them on the side if you wanted to, just wiggle them in there if you want to do something like that, or you could plug just one on the back, or one in any of these ports back here, or you could plug one on top, like that. So, a lot of options if you want to. So very, very cool. I'm just going to plug those back there. I usually like to store them back there. I think that looks the coolest. So very, very nice. So rolling wise, it rolls okay. So that does lead into a problem with this figure, or this just mold in general. So if you have Huffer or Road Ranger or this figure, you know it does have a kind of balancing or leveling problem. So as you can see, hopefully you can see on camera, it is not the most complete flat from the front and back, which is unfortunate. That did have the same problem with Huffer, and of course also Road Ranger and this figure as well, which is unfortunate. That does lead to the appearance not looking as good, also it not rolling as well, which I wouldn't say is the biggest concern. So there is sort of a way to fix it. You can untab the back legs, which is this section here, if you want to make it a little bit more flat. Of course, since they're untabbed, it is a little bit more loose, and these guns could come off, and it could unravel the figure. But if you're just going to put on a shelf, that would be fine. I'm not going to do that for this review, because it does kind of mess things up. It could pop some stuff off and be messy, but you can do that if you want to, if you're just going to slap it on a shelf. So it does keep that same problem, which is unfortunate. I'm assuming it will keep that same problem for pipes whenever I get it. So cute little truck. Let's get into some comparisons. A quick comparison with Huffer, Puffer, and Road Ranger, of course his pack mate. So this is a main line, and these are 2 exclusives in one pack, just to let you know. This was from Wave 2 Kingdom, and of course we will have a 4th version of this mold of pipes from the 5th wave of Kingdom, hopefully, which I will get soon. He is the most copy or similar version of Puffer here, which I will do a comparison whenever I get that figure. So now let's get into the similarities and differences between these 3 versions. As you can see, the front of the trucks are very, very similar indeed, but really just down to paint apps, that's pretty much it. There's really no sculpting changes. As you can see, the base color of this one, a Puffer here, is blue, this one's black, and this one's orange, but there's really no sculpting changes at all. As you can see, the top lights are done in red, this ones are black, these are silver, but the front grille section, as you can see, they're all done in silver, so that's pretty interesting. So I'm just going to do a one-on-one comparison with Road Ranger here. Unfortunately, I cannot fit Huffer in the shot as well, so I'm just going to have him in the back, just there. But as you can see, for the back section and the side, they are a little bit similar and different as well. So this little arm design here is a little bit more clean for Puffer, but on this one, there is this little square section at the top, which I will show again when they're both in robot mode, just to be a little bit more in depth. And as you can see at the back, the accessories are different. So he does have 2 just simple black cannons back there, but he has 2 halves of a gun and a shield piece, which are exactly the same as Huffer there, just of course different colors. His are done in silver, and his are done in more of a gray. But the main structure of the vehicle is very, very similar. If you took off all the accessories, you could tell that they are very, very similar vehicles. And of course, getting down to that same problem I mentioned before, you can see, hopefully you can, that they are uneven, which is unfortunate. The top half is a little bit higher or elevated than the bottom. It does look a little bit weird. There's some gaps here and there, which is unfortunate. But really, I told you a way to fix it, and you do it or not. Some people like that option if you're just going to put it on a shelf. Me personally, I have tried it. Yeah, it does look a little bit better, but I typically do not even store my figures in vehicle modes anyway. So I guess for the sake, if you were going to do it for a stop motion, you could, but otherwise, I don't really know what else you would do. So 2 or 3 very cool figures here. Highly recommend them. Of course, this is an Amazon exclusive pack. This was a mainline for Wave 2 of Kingdom, and we will have pipes for Wave 5. So I think that's pretty much it for a comparison. I think let's get into transformation of Puffer. Let's get into transformation. So first up, what you're going to want to do is, of course, just take the accessories off to the side, and now you can unfold the legs, just like that. So there is 2 tabs on here and 2 slots on the inside of the legs, so you can just untab. You can go to the front of the figure and just bring this little panel down, and just tab them underneath the feet, and then you can break the feet apart, and these will of course just become the heel spurs of the legs or feet. Now let's get to the top. So what you're going to want to do is untab these arm sections. You can get this hand, bring that out like that, and there we go. So how this is tabbed in is there is tabs on the big truck piece and slots on the arms. So now you're going to use the swivel here and swivel it like that. So if you don't understand how that happened, you can just do it again on the other side, of course, like that. So there we go. And now let's get to the top. So of course, this part is a little bit messy, so hopefully I can show you well. I do apologize if I don't. It's a little bit hard to show because there's a lot of stuff happening. It's a little bit cluttery. So now you just untab this section. You can put in these wheels just like that. I do want to advise caution because it is kind of a pain if they peg or untab, so just slowly move those in just like that. You can rotate the head around just like that, and there is a notch right there in between the 2 wheels, if you can see, and there is a little tab there, and that will just tap into place. But before you do that, make sure you tab the shoulders up just like this, like that. You can use the swivel of the arm to just get out of the way of tabbing the truck piece in. So there we go. So you can do it. This is really how you would transform Huffer or Road Ranger, but the step is new added to this figure, which is pretty cool. You're going to unfold this section here, and you're going to rotate it around, so there is a new added hinge to this figure. But again, you can have him positioned like Huffer or Road Ranger if you want to, but I'm going to show you how it is with the, designated transformation in the instructions. So you can just tab that in, fold this up just like that, and there is Puffer in his robot mode. I think he does look very, very cool. Let's get all the accessories on him, and then we'll take a look at the detail. Puffer in his robot mode, and I think he does look very, very cool. Let's take a look at the details. So, of course, he does have two very, very simple accessories, just two really cool cannons, exactly the same on both arms, which are very, very cool. You could, of course, store them on the shoulders if you wanted to, which I can show in just a second. The head sculpt is very simple, very, very nice. We have some kind of creamy white for the face or mouth. We do have a nice red visor for the eyes, and of course the rest of the helmet section is just plain white. We do have a nice Autobot symbol there for the chest. We do have some nice little vents for the chest as well. Some more of that creamy white for the hips. We do have some more white for the crotch. Nice detailing there. Hopefully, the figure does not blend in with my background because it is a white sheet, so I do apologize if it does. I did decrease the brightness a little bit. We do have some more kind of grayish for the top of the legs. We do have some blue for the rest of the legs there. We do have some more red on that side there. On the side we do have some wheels, which are pretty cool. I do actually kind of like it when figures have, some bits and pieces of the alt modes, like if they're turned into a jet, the wings are on their back or the wheels are on the sides, so that's pretty cool. On the back, we do have the little truck piece, which is pretty cool. Of course, this is a added hinge. It is the different way you can store it from Huffer or Road Ranger, which I can bring them out in a second for comparison. So, very, very cool details. So, customization-wise or little options-wise, of course, you can store the cannons on the side of the arms like that, or you can put them on the shoulder if you wanted to. A little bit of a different option if you don't want them, completely covering the arms details. But you can do something like that if you wanted to. Not my favorite. I probably will store them like I showed you before. I think that looks a little bit better. But again, you can also put blaster pieces on the ends of them for a more explosion, picture effect. So, very, very cool. Let's get into articulation. So I'm just going to take the accessories and put those off to the side and out of the way. So for articulation, you can rotate the head all the way around. So on a ball joint, it can slightly look up, a little bit look down. For the arms, they can rotate all the way around. You do kind of have to push it a little bit because this little truck piece is a little bit big and in the way. You can move it out, in. There is a swivel at the shoulder there. There is no hand articulation. If you want to, you can get the hand and move it in, but that's really due to transformation. Let's see. There is a waist rotation, but you will have to kind of move the truck piece if you want to. It does kind of get in the way, which is unfortunate. So let's just have that back into place. For the legs, I can do the full, sort of the full splits, like that. There is a swivel, like that. There is a knee bend. You can kick it forward and back to a pretty good degree. And, of course, there is the typical ankle pivot, like that. Not the best ankle pivot, but still a pretty good one. So yeah, overall, pretty good articulation. I do apologize if things got a little bit messy. Some things did kind of get untabbed, but nothing too bad. So let's fix him up a little bit, and we'll get into some comparisons. Here we have a quick comparison between Huffer, Puffer, and Road Ranger here. As you can see, they're pretty similar in structure-wise to the robot modes, but there is a few new sculpting changes. Of course, paint apps and the accessories are different. So Puffer here has two just black, simple cannons. These two figures do not have them at all, but Pipes does. His, I'm pretty sure, are done in silver instead of black, but the sculpting is exactly the same thing. Also, with his head sculpt, that is brand new, different between these two, but I do think Pipes has a similar head sculpt. We'll find out whenever I get that figure. So between these three figures that I just have, as you can see, the accessories are different between these two, really just with paint apps. They both do have a shield and a gun. His are done in silver and black. His are done in black and orange. Which is pretty cool. Slight differences, but I think it does make a figure very different. For just a small change, I think it adds a lot. So down to sculpting. Of course, we already did cover the head sculpt for Puffer, but between these two, the main structure of their head sculpt is quite similar, really. It's just down to some small differences. You can see, you can really make out a mouth and a nose and some eyes for this head sculpt, but for Road Ranger over there, he just has kind of a mouth plate and a visor. That's pretty much it. But you can see there is some similarities in head sculpts, quite similar, but there is some differences. But yeah, again, structure-wise, you can really tell that there is some similarities with the legs, the arms, the back truck piece. And getting to that, as you can see, if I'm just going to turn them all around, you can see Puffer does have his positioned a different way. He can store it like Road Ranger and Huffer, but I'm not going to do that. I want to have it different just to make it a little bit more, you know, surprising, give it a variety, of course. But yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, 3 very good figures, 3 similar figures, but there is some changes here and there, which I did just point out. But yeah, in the comment section below, let me know which one you like the most. Also, what do you think of pipes? If you already have pipes and not Puffer, you know exactly what to expect. They're very similar. They do have that hinge option, and I think the head sculpt is very similar. Also, the accessories are the exact same, just different paint apps, which is, of course, the same story between Huffer and Road Ranger here. So yeah, pretty much it for comparisons. Let's get into final thoughts. So now let's get into the final thoughts. I think overall this figure is very, very good. Let's get into the robot mode. So the robot mode overall is very good. Love the paint apps. The cannons are really simple, but I do really like them. That's why I liked about this figure so much. It's very simple, really just black, some white, and some silver here and there. Very, very cool. Transformation is very, very simple. Just a few areas there that I think could be a little bit more smooth. It's a little bit clunky and hard to show, especially in video whenever you're messing with the truck piece. But I really do like that added hinge where you can flip it around and do it like that instead of showing it like Huffer and Road Ranger. I really do like how it changes like that. You know, they could have just completely scrapped that. They could have just had a copy-paste version of Huffer and not even had that added hinge, which is pretty cool how they have a new step. So very, very cool. Vehicle mode really carries the same, really just very simple, very G1 vibe feel. I really do like it. Overall, very good figure. Of course, the vehicle mode does have that leveling problem. It's not completely flat and aligned, which is unfortunate. It doesn't roll as well because of that, also because I do have a cloth surface, so that is another reason why, but still a very, very good figure. Highly recommend it. Of course, it is an Amazon exclusive, so if you want this figure, you will also get Road Ranger as well, unless you buy it, you know, alone opened on eBay. You can, but of course the price will be a little bit higher again because it is an exclusive. But highly recommend it. Tell me what you think of this figure in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this video. I think that's it, so I'll see you next time.